How are we going to start this off? It's not really painting. Is it mediocre modeling with Wayne? I don't know, maybe. I mean, it's an old ass, like Gundam-esque model, so we'll figure it out. We've been doing these series parts where I painted this little Valkyrie that I'm using as my land air mech for a Battletech campaign that we're playing here in the store. And so, of course, I got on a nostalgia kick and started looking up old Robotech toys and models. I've heard if you collect all the nostalgia stuff that you had as a kid, you get to go back. I'm working towards that because, well, today sucks. In my quest to go back in time, I found this gem on eBay, but this is a Bandai kit from 1992. This is from the Macross 2 saga. This is the Valkyrie Super Armor Pack, or the SAP Special that they called it in this series. Palladium Books did a RPG series with this based on using their Palladium system of role-playing games, and we played this in Robotech when I was younger quite a bit, before we realized how clunky and bad Palladium system was. But it still lives in the heart, and I love it. Even as shitty as their system is today, we still play every once in a while. So in a fit of nostalgia, I purchased this off of eBay because it was complete and in the box. But when I got it, it was unassembled, all on the sprue still, which is what it said. And so, of course, I started assembling it like mad, and then I was like, wait a minute, we could do a video about this. And, knocking stuff over. It's cool because it came with this big poster with the emulator from the series. I forget her name, but it's got a cool big poster. We'll get a shot of that. On the back of it are the directions on how to put this thing together. So, you know, you don't just throw that poster away or hang it up on your wall if you need it, because it's got the directions. So I had already started assembling that before having the brilliant idea of doing this video. So I started working on the legs, and it's very much Gundam-esque, like modern Gundams are. So they've like been doing this stuff a long time with Gundams, and I mean, I was just introduced to them in the mid-late 2000s. So I don't know, it's pretty neat for me to see that they've had this, like the evolution of this stuff over time. Like even got like the clear parts canopy in here, and all this stuff like just snaps in, or in this case it's got two like little bitty metal screws that like hold this thing in place, which is kind of cool. And it's got stickers for the sticker logos, like the modified Robotech emblem they use in this, and except the word Robotech is never mentioned at all in this series, which is funny. But some decals. So this is cool. So I figured do a little bit of this on film of me struggling through putting together this Gundam model, because I'm not very good at Gundam kits and like the weathering stuff. I'm very new to that, so it's a whole different side of a hobby that I've never done, because the pre-painted plastic just like throws me off. So I'm like, do I paint this part? Do I weather this part? How do I supposed to look? And I'm stupid. So back to it. Figure we'll start putting this thing together. I'm gonna take all this stuff out of the box. We'll pick up where I left off on putting this guy together. Sorry you don't get to see it from the beginning, but it's kind of boring anyway, just putting together legs. So one of the essentials for putting together these things is a good set of clippers, and I'm a bougie asshole, so of course I gotta have my God hand clippers. For cutting plastic, you can't beat these things. I mean, they're like 55, 60 bucks for a pair, but once you use them and it just like cuts the sprues like butter and doesn't leave a whole lot to clean up with your X-Acto knife, you're gonna be like, what have I been doing with my life? Why haven't I been using these for, you know, as long as I've been modeling? And the answer is they're hard to get, but we have them here at HardKnoxGames and on our website. If you need a pair, worth it, as you'll see. So we're gonna start working. I already got the shoulders started, which is pretty cool because like 1992 kit with articulated shoulders is just impressive as hell to me, because like European and American companies in the same time frame were struggling to make basic single pose plastic models that looked worth a shit. So the fact that like this is pre-painted, like stuff that has like articulation like a toy, but it's a model kit with like super detail on it is impressive as shit to me. And way to go, Japan. I mean, I'm no weeb, but I mean, you might make me into one. What do the kids say? Ooh woo? I don't know. So anyone who's ever done a Bandai kit knows that all their sprues are letter labeled and then number labeled on here. So if they're saying like get B whatever, this sounds really cool until you get like 4 sprues that are B, and you're like, okay, which B is it? So there's a lot of looking at pictures and puzzling your head. But the great thing is, you don't need glue to put these things together. So if you're trying to like slap the wrong shit together and you find it later, you're like, oh, that was the wrong piece. You can take it apart pretty easily and get it back. So here we go. Need B1. As I struggle trying to operate underneath this camera rig. All right. B1. So when I clip my plastic off, I just take and scrape a little bit to get any of that nub. And don't dig too deep with the point of your X-Acto blade, because you'll gouge out your plastic real easy if you do that. So a nice way to prevent that is to use the back side of your X-Acto blade, or if you have a fancy mold line scraper like a Games Workshop mold line scraper, you can do that too, and it removes that any extra sprue. And that's what's good about the God Hand ones, is it doesn't leave a lot of that sprue to remove, so that's pretty good. This is where we'll overlay some like cool music or something to fill this dead space of me scraping on this model. All right, B1 and B2. Orientation is like that. And these Gundam kits also have like rubberized parts for the articulation, and like you can see these parts, they're a little bit squishy. Not super squishy because they probably hardened up over 30 years, but these are actually like a rubberized part. Like you can see that sprue like wiggles, which is not a normal thing, but they use this for the articulation points to like give it that flex so it doesn't crack the plastic around it, which is a neat forethought. And PCF. Which goes oriented to the back. I get my big cloud hands doing this. That's cool. All right. Let us see. Does that see? Yep. Kung Fu grip. Gotcha. So our fist goes in here. Squish it in that rubberized seal. We got that and that. And then we put this together. Squeak. That's pretty neat. And like the precision modeler in me hates that there's this gap here, and I'm sure there's a way to take that out, but I know part of it is for like being able to move this guy around and stuff and to orient his arms the way that they're supposed to be oriented. But we'll figure that out. Alright, so actually we need to twist this around a little bit. There we go. With his little thumb. And then this is, yeah. So then that plugs into there. So we got an arm now. Yeah. Cool. Now we rinse repeat for the right arm. There's that. Friends are making 2nd edition D&D characters out there, and it brings back memories. We're all about nostalgia around here. The edition that I started playing with, actually about the same time this model kit came out. 92 is when I started playing D&D, which is like the heyday of 2nd edition. Of course, it's right after the 80s, so my mom is hearing from my aunt about how Dungeons and Dragons is going to cause him to kill somebody or commit suicide after he does it, because, you know, D&D scare and wizards and sorcery. And so my mom threw my player's handbook away and like grounded me from playing D&D with my cousin. And as of course a 11-year-old kid, that's pretty devastating, but it also makes you want to do it more because it's verboten, it's forbidden. So I go to my friend's house, my friend Ross, and we'd like play D&D over there, and he had books, and my friend Josh is like, you got rid of my book, but everybody else has got them too, so I can still play the game, haha. A while later, my mom felt bad and bought me a new player's handbook. So the story ended up being okay. And then I made this bullshit into my career. So joke's on them and my ridiculous aunt for trying to, you know, tell them, you know, that it was going to cause me to be a Satan worshiper. I mean, I am, hail Satan, but I'm not a bad person.
What year did this model come out?
1992.
Where could you buy this model locally?
Oh Lord, no, not here where I lived. This was not available at any hobby shop near me. You'd probably have to have lived in a big city with an importer at the time, and of course this is pre-internet and pre-internet shopping, so like there's no way that I would have had access to this model as a kid. So that's what's kind of cool about getting it now. Let's hear it for the modern world. I mean, this wasn't super expensive on the old eBay, but you can buy Gundams super easy now. Like every store's got them. So like if you like giant robots and that whole genre, like Gundam's got you covered. So you can, I mean, it's Bandai, who's the same people that made this kit, and there's like 1,000 Gundam series now. So like you can pretty much get anything you want. Of course, this doesn't really exist anymore as a series. They haven't published anything with Macross 2 and, well, since 92. So, but like these kits, when I saw it on eBay, there was like 3 or 4 other ones for it. So I don't guess it's super rare, but and I don't know how many were put out for this series. I'd like to get a hold of some of the other characters from it if they were, because it was my favorite Macross offshoot series at the time. Still is as an adult. I'm not a huge anime connoisseur or anything. My knowledge of anime kind of stops at Robotech and Macross and Cowboy Bebop, but you know, the good ones. It's just neat seeing this little bite of the past and like its innovations and like its flaws that it's, you know, that it has from older injection style molding. Like it, you know, like you can see these like injection mold lines that are like in the actual like model itself. Like that's not surface level, that's in this plastic. Like I could probably sand that off, but I'd have to do like everything, and that's not what we're just trying to do right now. We're just trying to get this assembled, and we're probably going to do some panel lining and some other stuff to just kind of make it pop and make it look like a good shelf piece. But it's a neat, and like I said, it keeps creeping apart because the rubber parts in it are, you know, are there. But it's pretty cool that an old plastic model kit would like have this much movement and posability to it for, I guess it's not 30 years old, it's 28 years old, but I mean close enough shit. So little 11-year-old Wayne would have loved something as cool as this when he was a kid. I mean shit, 39-year-old Wayne loves this kit, so I mean it is what it is. So that's neat. And yes, one arm is a little bigger than the other because this one has a gun stored in it, whereas this one doesn't. As a cannon in the series, this is where it keeps a gun pod, so it's a little bit bigger. So your eyes aren't tricking you that one arm is actually bigger than the other. Because reasons, motherfucker, reasons. All right, so we got this shit started today. We're just kind of keeping these videos short. Tune in next time, and we'll start working on the body and the cockpit and the head and stuff, and then we'll get the rest of this. So we'll probably just break this up so you can kind of see how I build an old ass Gundam and what we're gonna do with it. So anyway, cool. Hope you enjoyed my little slice of nostalgia, and we'll see you next time.